we've hit 200,000 downloads.
I know, it's wild.
200,000 podcast downloads.
And that's like a month, just over a month.
In a month, we've had an extra 100,000 downloads, and we are now have listeners in 162 countries. Did I say 162? Was that right? Let me check it. Is that what I said? Numbers aren't my friend. It is 162.
162, yeah.
That's ridiculous, and I can't cope. And I actually cried when I opened it. But what's even funnier is because we've been doing interviews all night, we missed 400. So I looked at it earlier and it was like 199.
Yeah.
And now like 204k. Like we didn't see it when it hit, but we've hit it, Dawney.
It's wild. It's absolute madness.
Anyway, that's enough about us. Introducing an amazing guest that we have got, the wonderful Mrs ADHD.
The one, the only Mrs ADHD, yeah.
Yes, so Sam Brown, the wife of Dr. James Brown. We caught up with Sam a little while ago, so she's actually progressed a little bit in her journey since we spoke to her, but it's such a fantastic interview that we wanted to get it out, and Sam was like, put it out, because we would love to have her back so we can have another catch up to hear where she's up to next.
Yes. Very exciting.
We just want to say before we dive into this episode, thank you to everyone who has joined our community platform and has pledged to support us. We know that it's a big ask in these really, really hard times. We know that we're in a cost of living crisis. And to be honest with you, that is all the more reason why we can't keep working for free.
Exactly.
Our houses are cold up here.
I need to heat my house and not live in my hoodie for eternity.
Yeah. So we always want the podcast to be free. We always want the social media to be free because that's what's going to get the awareness out there. But we do need to free up Dawn's hours so that we can work together, so that this is sustainable and so that we can continue. So as we said on the live, for anybody that this podcast has helped, we are asking for your help now. And if you are in a position where you can help us for as little as £4 a month up to £10 a month, then you're literally going to be keeping this podcast going. So anyway.
Well, I was just going to add in there, and it's not just about helping us either. Like it's not that you're just pledging and you're not getting anything back. You're getting something back here as well. You're getting to be part of this community. And already we have so many, like I can't believe the amount of signups that we've had already, and it's been incredible. It's been so well received so far, and like within the community that we've started, people are chatting, people are starting conversations, and they're talking about things and they're helping each other. So there's so much for people to get back from this community.
We're looking forward to body doubling with people, and to also I'm looking forward to writing. Because I write more than just the blurb for Instagram posts. So I'm really looking forward to doing some writing, and hopefully if and when we can get your time freed up, then that means I can write more. And
exactly.
That would be great.
And so, she writes really well. So
not just hashtags.
Exactly.
Anyway, we can come back to this at the end and talk about it a little bit more, but just wanted to start with that and say a thank you, and we will explain more at the end. So anyway, let's talk about pole dancing, and let's talk about sex, baby.
Sing it, girl.
No, don't. Right, I'll shut up. Shall we dive in?
Let's go.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF. ADHD as females, the podcast.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and
we are ADHD AF.
Seriously. We are two neurodivergent neighbours who moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed disability. What are the chances?
Since discovering the enormous impact ADHD has had on our lives and the horrifying numbers of missing undiagnosed females, it has become our mission to make some serious noise.
We want to use our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others.
So join us for a chat, or as it's called up here in Aberdeen, a blether.
Trigger warning, we will be covering some really sensitive topics, so please do have a read of the description of each episode before listening.
It's important to note that we are not medical professionals, we're not therapists or coaches, we're not qualified to offer advice or support. What we will do is share our experiences alongside resources and information from professionals. We will talk over each other and we will go off topic and forget the point mid-sentence.
We are both assigned female at birth, which means that we can only speak from the experience of life as AFAB people. However, ADHD AF is an inclusive space. Whatever your gender, you are very welcome here.
Yes, you are.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF.
I'm sure that most of our listeners will have heard of you. You are Mrs ADHD, the one and only wife of Dr. James Brown of ADHD Adult UK. It's really hilarious because it's almost like we need to start with the most ADHD things, because Sam actually forgot that we had this scheduled.
Yep.
And I forgot that we were actually meant to be talking about pole dancing and to do all of the relevant stuff about that. So the whole thing is just a massive pile of ADHD nonsense. And that's why we thought, fuck it, that's hilarious. Let's just dive in.
So what's the most ADHD thing you've done this week, Sam?
I mean, shall we start with today? I've done loads this week, actually. It's been a mental week. If I start with today, because obviously you know some of them, obviously forgot I was due to be on here. And then for weeks or months even, my key in my car, it's been saying it's low on battery and flashing up, and I keep thinking, yeah, I'll do that. And then today I'm rushing to get back to see you guys. I thought I'll leave work a bit earlier, put everything in the car, and then I was taking, because it's an electric car, I was taking the plug out, so closed the car, went to open the boot to put the plug in, and I'd locked everything in the car.
Oh no.
Everything, my phone, my purse, my bag, my laptop, everything. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I went into work, and I don't know, I'm really good with numbers, but James's mobile number, I cannot remember at all.
Oh no.
Like, what am I going to do? And so I managed to find, I'd written his number, I thought, on a piece of paper, but I wasn't even sure if it was, anyway, I got him and he came out, and then I didn't think I'd make it, but we got back in time, and then I remember the password to the light in this room. But then earlier this week, last Monday, I got in my car to go to work, and I'm driving along and thought, I don't normally come to work on the motorway. What? And I'd gone on 2 motorways and passed multiple junctions before I thought, this doesn't seem right. And I'd put in my mum and dad's address in Stoke instead of my address in Birmingham, and was halfway to Stoke.
Oh no.
I was late for work then. And then another ADHD thing I did this week was the house is a complete shithole, so I thought I need to knuckle down and tidy it. And then I went into my bathroom to have a wee and saw a tool that you use to scrape off sealant around the shower.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll just start doing that.
That is the most productive thing I could do in this moment.
Yeah.
I know. So really got nailed into it.
You're on fire.
Yeah, and I was like, the whole house is a shithole, and now I'm not going to be able to have a shower for months probably, because I'm never going to finish this.
Oh no.
What
You're on fire just
That's
now.
my week so far.
So let's go back to the start.
Okay.
Let's first ask your name, age, occupation, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I normally have to ask James for my age. My name is Sam Brown. My age is
The year you were born?
yeah, I was born in 76, but in November, I think I'm 45, aren't I?
I don't know. I can't do numbers.
46
I'm trying to do
November?
maths as well. 76.
Let's just say I'm 45.
Okay. What's your ADHD age? How old do you feel?
Like 6?
I
Maximum.
go with 14. That's mine. 14.
No, I just want to play all the time and eat shit. I've got no interest in anything else at all. And I always want to be upside down. When I'm watching TV, I've got my legs rolling around the place. I'm a child, basically.
Oh, bless. So, yeah, occupation. Tell us a little bit about your work.
So basically admin, like executives, but it's mental because I can't organise myself for shit. But I can organise other people. I think probably because my whole family are ADHD, and from a very young age I had to organise my whole family. So I think you build in so many coping mechanisms that you become good at that. And I'm really good at organising other people. But I've done so many different careers. Before this job, if I stayed in a job for a year, that would be a long time for me. Because either I'd be bored or I'd be thinking, any minute now, they're going to find out how shit I am. So I'm just going to go before they work it all out. And even though every time I'd go to them and go, and they'd say, "Oh, you were really good. Why are you leaving?" But I'd never learn from that. I'd always do. So shit, I've got to get out now.
Yeah.
So I've done loads of things. Air hostess. I've had hairdressing salons. I've worked in a prison, a men's prison. In sales. I can't remember. Loads of things. I've done loads of things.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Very familiar, yeah. So how did you come to suspect you had ADHD?
Do you know, it wasn't until I was filling the forms out for James's ADHD assessment thing.
Yeah.
You know, family have to fill out the forms. So I was filling it out for him. And bear in mind, he should really know about this stuff. He's a scientist. I mean, he knows everything about it now because he's focused on it. But at that time, we didn't really know what ADHD was. Alex had said to him, "I think you're ADHD." And he was like, "Yeah, maybe." But we didn't really know what it was. But I'm filling out this questionnaire for him. And afterwards I said, "I've filled that in and sent it for you." I said, "Do you know, though, most of those questions, I could have given multiple examples for myself." And he went, "Yeah, I mean, most people from time to time are." And still at that point, we still didn't realise. We were just like, "Oh, that's funny." And then as we learned more and more about it, he was like, "Shit, you're ADHD as fuck." But it wasn't until James was getting diagnosed, and then it took me a while actually, because James kept trying to introduce it to me, because obviously he'd read a lot about it and knew it, and kept saying things like, "You know that's an ADHD trait, don't you, when I do something?" And I'm going, "Stop saying that, I don't want to know that." And I got really upset actually. I really, really struggled with it first, and I couldn't accept it. I just kept crying because I didn't want it. A big part of my identity is built around, this sounds weird now, built around basically saying to everybody, "I'm shit, and I'm shit at everything, and I'm lazy, and I can't do anything." And I didn't want that identity taken away from me. I didn't want people didn't want people saying, "Oh, she does that because she's ADHD." No, I wanted them to go, "No, she's shit, and she's lazy, and she's worthless." And I didn't want, and still part of me, I've not told a lot of people, I still mask, because I don't want people to know. It's weird, isn't it? Even though I know there's no shame in it.
But that's the thing, we're dragging these horses around with us for life. It's still your companion, right?
Yeah. I know.
It's quite funny because I'm the exact opposite. As soon as I found out, I told the world. I wanted everyone to know. I wanted everyone to know.
Get off my case.
I'm not shit. I'm not lazy. I'm not this absolute worthless piece of crap that can't do anything in life. I've got a brain disorder, so leave me alone.
Yeah.
Wow. You do examine your whole life, don't you? And look back through it and think, God, so much of that makes sense now.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
at the same time, it makes me think, I'm like, is that my personality? Like, is my whole personality ADHD? Is that all I am?
That's the thing, is you are picking it apart. You are trying to decipher what's you and what's ADHD. And of course it is all mixed in together, but that's part of why, like, when we're talking about like the positive traits, if there are such a thing, like, I get all uppity about it, because I feel like if you're going to say that the creativity is ADHD, like, I don't think that's fair to take that away from me. Like, ADHD has taken enough from me.
And not everybody with ADHD
that one.
It's not a universal thing, is it?
Like, ADHD impacts every area of your life, but who you are is still who you are, 100%.
And how creative could you be if you didn't have ADHD?
Exactly.
Doing shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I struggle to find any positives, to be honest, except when people die. Like, I forget people exist all the time, even people I hold dear and love dearly, and have, lost relationships with friends in the past because they can't deal with the fact that I don't message them. I'm not a very good friend. But then if somebody dies, I can completely forget that
Mm.
they died until
Yeah.
I'm reminded of it again, and then I just go through it all again. But that really helps me sometimes with grieving.
Yeah.
I was having this thought today when I was looking at my phone, you know, your stories or whatever, and you're going through things, and then you'll see someone that hasn't maybe posted for ages. And then you're reminded of that person again, being like, oh shit, I've not spoken to them in months. I need to contact them.
Yeah, yeah.
And if it's not for social media,
You'd forget that they
I
existed.
forget they exist.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm not very good on social media. Everybody jokes about me that I literally just come on, post my own shit and leave.
Yeah.
And
I'm a bit like that.
never look at stories, and I'll literally, when I go on to post, I'll look at a few things around about that time, go, and then that's me done.
Well, the stories are handy because they're a good reminder. They're a good reminder of which friends of mine exist. So, and the ones that aren't very active in social media just don't get to see me as much.
No, I have to be careful because I can get so obsessed with it that I literally do nothing. Like I downloaded TikTok at one point. I had to get rid of that because that was just. I hated myself afterwards because I was like, "What? I've been looking at shit videos of people I don't know all day long. What for?"
Yeah. And all night, because then I get all insomniac and I can't stop looking. And then you don't know how long it's been. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, no.
I'm watching somebody bake a cake or some shit.
My worst is shitty games on my phone.
Oh yeah, same.
So I have to get to sleep. I have to play a shitty game on my phone. But if it's just a little bit good, I will literally stay up all night playing this phone. And James will wake up in the morning and go, "You've not been reversing cars out of that car park all night."
I played that one.
Absolutely have, yeah. Fucking love it.
I know.
And I just can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it and love it at the same time.
I can only watch TV when I'm playing a game on my phone at the same time.
Oh yeah. Do you know that really annoys James? Really
it annoys my husband. I sit on my phone when I'm watching TV. It's like it helps, especially if it's like really intense.
James is really into films. He's really into films, so he gets a bit offended if he's put a film on that he's invested in and I'm not watching. And he'll pause it and go, "Shall I wait until you're ready?" And I'm going, "You're literally fucking having a go at me for having ADHD now. I can't help it." He's going, "Well, you're not giving me full attention." I'm like, "I can't do films like you do. I can't. I have to have 80,000 breaks during a film because I can't go." So what we do now is we'll have a break like every 5 or 10 minutes for me to just go on my phone and then we'll carry on again.
Oh, that's nice. There's a hack.
Yeah.
There's a hack.
Putting systems in place.
Yeah.
So we know that you've just been diagnosed recently.
Yeah.
So how was the diagnosis process for you?
Oh God, awful.
Yeah.
So I'll be brief with this because it was a really long process. Actually, it was like nearly a couple of years I've been waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my GP. Eventually, you know what it's like making an appointment and speaking to somebody. And anyway, it has to be referred through Right to Choose to Psychiatry UK because I knew that their waiting times were the shortest. So. Do you know what? I'm starting to tell you now and I can't even remember the whole process. Anyway, I wasn't referred to them. Eventually, after about 2 months, I think I got a message from the GP saying, "We need a bit more information before we can refer you." And I was like, "What? I haven't been referred. It's been 2 months." So made another appointment with the GP, told them the more information. And I was like, "I don't understand. I've filled out the form. I've told you what to do." Anyway, then eventually, like months later, I get a letter from a local ADHD service. And they're saying, you know, register on the system and do whatever they needed to do. I was like, "Oh, I wanted to be referred to Psychiatry UK, but I guess maybe, I don't know. It's a big thing, isn't it? Ringing back up the GP and And then I'm like, I've got through to this service. If I come off that one and then I've got to wait again, maybe it'll just be quicker if I do this. Maybe I'm not entitled to be. I just questioned everything and I was like, I'll just go with it. And then months later, they gave me they said, "Oh, you've got an appointment." And I thought, this is it. It's my diagnosis. And they rang me up and James had prepared loads of stuff for me because I was really scared, but I didn't look at any of it. Obviously, I was just pacing up and down as I do. I'm quite hyperactive, pacing up and down on the phone. And they were just like, it's yes or no answers. And obviously, I just went into loads of detail for hours. And then at the end of it, it wasn't an ADHD assessment. It was like a pre-assessment. I think they were basically, I've now realised since I've been diagnosed with Psychiatry UK that this local service actually haven't got any psychiatrists. Is that the right word? Yeah, so they were just trying to make the process longer until they got
God.
Yeah, I know. So, and then after that, I thought, well, it's going to be any minute now. And then I sent all the forms back from my family and James and everything, and then contacted them, and they were like, oh no, it could be another couple of years yet. And I was like, fuck. But still couldn't get them because I'm so bad. I can't do anything. I'm either all or nothing. I either can't stop doing things, or I just literally can't even get up to go for a piss because I'm playing a game on my phone. And I'm like, Father's Day, I was like, I'm sorry, Dad, I can't come. I'm paralyzed. And he's like, what do you mean you're paralyzed? It's like, I'm playing this game on my phone and I literally can't. James had to come up. I had to message James and say, can you come upstairs? Because I know if I stand up off the bed, I'll be able to have a wee, and then I might be able to have a shower, and then I might be able to go and sleep. He had to come and physically lift me up because I couldn't get up. Yes. I've forgotten what I was saying. Oh yeah. So ringing the doctor. I'm sorry.
No.
Eventually, after loads, I rang the doctor and said, listen, I wanted to be referred to Psychiatry UK. GP had no idea what I was talking about at all. And I was like, listen, I'll just email it all through to you with instructions and the forms and everything. And then I checked a few days later, still hadn't referred me. So I spoke to a secretary. And actually, I think this is a really good tip for people that are having no luck with the GPs. They're not admin focused. They don't even understand what you're talking about a lot of the time. I spoke to a secretary, explained it all to her, sent her the forms, told her what to do. She went and spoke to the GP, got it all changed over to Psychiatry UK.
Okay,
and I've got to say, they were amazing.
Yeah, it's psychiatrist secretary that I had all my correspondence through, and she was the most helpful person in the whole process.
Yeah,
definitely. And then, so with this local service, I had no idea what was going on or anything. With Psychiatry UK, they had like a whole portal, and I could see where I was at, and they'd send messages to me through the portal, and I could send them back, and it's just brilliant. Yeah. And then I think probably he could tell almost immediately in the diagnosis. I was late. I forgot my ID. So I had to run and get my ID. I kept getting distracted by things out the window. I've closed the blinds today, but when the blinds are open, I'm just constantly like, and I'm moving around and I'm not concentrating on what he's saying. And I bet he just thought, fucking, we could do this in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he just said, so yeah, there are 3 types of ADHD, blah, 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 your combined type. How do you feel? And I was like, what? And he went, how do you feel now you've been diagnosed with ADHD? And I went, I don't know. And he said, some people feel relieved. And I went, I don't know what I feel. I don't feel anything. And he went, okay, yeah. I mean, that's another common thing with ADHD, that you either underreact or overreact. And I was like, yeah. And before the assessment, I was like really pumped. Afterwards, nothing.
Yeah.
And James said, you okay? And I'm going, yeah, fine. Because I just thought, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I knew this already. What? And now I've got to wait for. Anyway, now I'm on medication. Obviously, still nothing's changed.
How do you feel on the meds? Do you feel like they're helping you?
No. But I'm on. I've only just started. To be fair, it's like I'm like a couple of days in on the lowest dose.
You're literally just days in.
Yeah. 2 days, like 2 days.
Right.
But I've got no side effects, so I've got no headaches or racing heart or dry mouth or anything. Like no side effects at all. So that's
let's go.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, can we speed this up a bit?
Being the operative word.
I know, definitely. So and James said, so I'm on 20 milligrams for 10 days, then 30 milligrams, I think, for another 10 days, and then 40. And James said that most people don't notice a difference until 40. So that's fine. So no, I've not noticed any difference at all. But then James, even on the highest dose, said these aren't working at all. But when he compared his scores on the tests, but apparently it's just so, what's that word? Subtle.
Yeah.
You can't even tell. He forgets sometimes if he's taken his meds, even though he takes loads. But he said it's really subtle, but it just does help to quieten down his mind and to help him to focus a little bit. Even if it just quietens down this shit show that's inside my brain, that would be the best thing ever. If I could just concentrate on one thought without all my other thoughts screaming at me for attention and going, what about this? What about that? Hang on, I'm just trying to. And I have to, that's the biggest thing for me. So when I'm working, and it's hard because I share an office, I have to talk to myself all the time. Because to stay on one train of thought, I'm having to I don't want to sound like a mental, but all of my voices in my head are talking about different things.
Yeah.
And I want them to focus on this one thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going, right, you're doing this and then you're going to do this. And trying to
yeah.
But
Especially when I'm
sometimes
walking around, because I can very easily just forget where I'm going or what I'm doing or what I'm doing it for. So I'm saying, right, off I go to Ulster, playing the list in my head again. Don't turn left, it's this way. I do that all day.
Every single job I've had, people have been like, can you be quiet? That's what I do. I talk to myself. I talk myself through things.
Yeah.
Me focus.
Yeah.
Another thing I do, which actually really annoys James, another thing I do sometimes when my brain is really noisy and I need to just focus on something is I'll go, shh. And other people think I'm doing it to them. And actually I do it to James all the time as well, just to piss him off. Whenever he says something, I'll just go, shh. You'll go, but that really annoys people because they think I'm shushing them, but I'm actually just quietening myself down.
Oh, bless you.
But I was saying, I think it was when we spoke to the guys for our interview for ADHD Awareness Month, I was saying that, like, I had this epiphany when I was half pissed with my friend Claire the other weekend, and I had this, like,
Perfect
analogy of what it is like, and it's like there's a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people inside of your head, and each one of those people in your head has a thought, and they're all fighting their way to get to the very front to shout out that thought. And as soon as one gets to the front, whoever's around them just gets pushed back, and there's literally a cliff that they fall off behind because that thought is gone and just it's just like, see you later, bye-bye, you're gone.
I was trying to explain to my friend, because she was saying, what do you mean that your brain's noisy and how can you think multiple things at the same time? And I said, the only way I can explain it is, like, all the voices in my head are me. It's all me thinking things like, oh, look at that, do you remember when you did this? Singing a song, there's all different things going on, and I can hear them all at the same time, but one's louder than the others. And then what happens is I'm listening to the loud one, but I can still hear these other things that are going on. And I'll hear something and think, that's interesting. And then that one will come to the front and I'll take it. And then something else might. And you're right, you then lose track of what you were originally talking about, like I have now.
Sometimes my thoughts literally splinter. So, like, I can see the thought will be like, get a glass of water, but I'll also be thinking about, oh, that pen's nice, and that, and actually the three things happen exactly the same time, which is really strange, because then you're like,
I have to, and things like that I have to, as I'm going to get a glass of water, the whole time I'm going, glass of water, glass of water, glass of water, glass of water, glass of water. And if somebody interrupts me, I'm like, shh, glass of water, glass of water. I need to drink, and I'll forget that I'm thirsty in like seconds.
I was saying to Laura earlier that I was sitting at my computer trying to do some uni work, and I went to get some food, and I got myself a nectarine, and I came upstairs and I'm just sitting eating the nectarine, carrying on with the uni work, and the next thing I know, I'm Googling where nectarines are grown and whether you get them in the UK. And then that led me down another tunnel about whether you can get mutant nectarines on peach trees. And
can you?
I don't know. Apparently nectarines will grow on a peach tree, but it's a mutation.
Well, see, now we all know this, so that's good.
Is that where nectarines come from then?
Well,
I'm really interested in this.
Well, no, I had to stop myself, because I was just like, you do not need to be doing this right now.
Well, I know what I'll be doing tonight instead of sleeping.
As interesting as I'm finding this, I need to stop and go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. But that's me constantly. Yeah. It's so
I have to, when I'm working, I have to switch off all notifications. I can't have my phone near me. Email notifications, Teams notifications, all those have to be switched off. But Googling things is just a nightmare, and before you know it, you've just gone down a rabbit hole.
And you can't even remember why you were there in the first place.
No.
The thing, the amount of time,
but it's still so important.
And I go, oh, I wonder what that is. You go to Google it, you get to Google, and you can't remember what the thing is that you're going to Google. So then you have to go back to the app that you were in to re-jog your memory of what you're even meant to be Googling.
But sometimes I can't let go of it.
Yeah.
Well, even if I think this is pointless, I can't even remember why I'm doing this, but I absolutely fucking have to finish this. I know it was important. I don't know why, but I need to find this out. And then immediately forget it.
That's why mobile phones are a nightmare as well, because you pick up your phone to do something, but you forget to do the thing that you pick up your phone to do because you get distracted by something else, and then you end up
no idea
all the time.
Well, we've totally gone off piece.
We
now,
really
haven't we?
have.
Well,
But
we
Oh,
normally
sorry.
do, but we've really gone off piece.
we, we always do.
What has changed for you since diagnosis?
I'd say nothing, but I think it has actually. I think I went through like several stages, and I don't actually know if I've fully accepted it yet. Weirdly, because I feel like I've been so busy, I haven't had time to stop and think about it properly, if that makes sense. But I think it's more for other people that it's changed things. So my whole family are ADHD, won't have anything of it, and I think they've kind of accepted it more now that I've got a diagnosis, and are starting to look at themselves now that I've got a diagnosis. And that's not through anything I've done. That's something that's happened to them, I think, after I've said to them. It's then made them think, should I, and examine themselves maybe. So that I think. And I think now, for the first time ever, and who was it I said this to recently? And I said to James, it's the first time I've ever said, I'm so sorry, I actually have ADHD, so sometimes I will forget that. And I was like, that is a massive thing for me, because I didn't think I'd ever say that to anybody. And I can't remember now what it was or why, but I did say it to somebody in an email.
Really good. I think that whole elusive acceptance thing is really hardcore. And I don't know, I like to think that it's a destination, but I'm not convinced. I wonder if it'll just be a process. Like you'll accept it for a bit and then someone will knock the wind out of yourself again. Yeah.
I think so, definitely. I think you'll accept and reject it constantly, because that's what we're like, aren't we?
Yeah.
So what do you think undiagnosed ADHD has cost you?
Oh God, if I think about it, loads. Like relationships, not that they've been worth hanging on to. Sorry, exes, but
see ya.
But previous to James, I mean, I've always struggled with being faithful. I've always struggled actually with like sex and intimacy, because I get like I always wanted to be in a relationship, but as soon as I got settled into a relationship, I'd have so many problems with the sex that either I get overstimulated, so I just can't bear it. Sorry, I'm going to overshare massively here, because that's me.
No, it's good.
Get like massively overstimulated, so I can't bear any touch. So then what I have to do is I can disassociate from my body. I've got a place inside my head that I can go to. So I if I get overstimulated, I can just switch off and then I'm somewhere else. So I'm not getting turned on because I'm not even aware of what's going on inside my body. Or I'm understimulated, or I'll get hyper focused on something that they're doing wrong. Like, I don't know, they're rubbing my leg thinking it's my clit or something. And I'm just thinking, it happens, doesn't it? And I'm thinking, what a fucking dick.
Behind the little toe, no?
I mean, what the fuck? So then I'm focused on that, just thinking, what a fuck, and there's no way I'm going to get turned on then.
Yeah.
But all of that, for some reason, would disappear if I had like a one night stand, or those first butterflies that you get. I'd get none of those things with the sex, because the excitement of it caught me up so much. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I wasn't getting distracted by what I'm going to eat for dinner or whatever. I was into it. So then what happened was, every relationship I've had, I've been unfaithful because the sex wasn't fulfilling, and I'm just searching for it all the time. So I've been shit in relationships, and I really regret that, actually, that I didn't just leave the relationship and just play around, because half of me wanted to be in a loving relationship, and the other half just couldn't stand the sex in that relationship. And and even with James, like, we really struggled for a long time. It's only recently that we've been able to kind of be honest and open with one another about that, and then sort it all out,
So understanding and communication.
Yeah,
massively. And it helps that he's got ADHD as well, so he's not going to be offended if I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not into this, because I'm thinking about, I can't stop thinking about something that happened at work today. And he's not going to go, what? You see, he understands. So that really helps. That really helps. Friendships, like I mentioned before, I'm not a very good friend. I forget people exist. I forget to message people. I forget to message people back. I forget birthdays. I'm terrible like that. And I've lost so many friends that got offended, and good friends that I really liked, but that just couldn't handle it. And they were like, listen, I don't feel like I'm getting the same back from you, which is fair. They weren't. And I just can't do this anymore. I feel like it's one-sided.
Is without the lens of ADHD, when we know that your intentions don't always, or your actions don't mirror your intentions, if you don't know that aspect, then you're just saying, you think I'm worthless. You don't care.
Yeah, and how does it sound to
your birthday? I get nothing. Like what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to a neurotypical person, you can't say, "I'm sorry, I forgot that you ever existed," because that sounds so shit. Because they wouldn't understand. Like, I really love you, but I forgot that you ever existed. I forgot that you were in my life. And it's just, and some people can't handle that. And to be honest, that's fine. For me, the fewer friends, the better, because I just can't deal with them. So if people drop off, that's fine by me, even if I really care about them. It just happens. So that job's obviously moving around. I don't know, anything else? Probably. I don't know, maybe I could have done better in my education. I always wanted to get a degree and I just couldn't. I'm brilliant at exams, coursework, no. Anything where I've got to spend a long time and writing essays, it's like all the voices in my brain are just screaming at me and I just couldn't do it. And I was good at it, but I just couldn't. So I tried a few times to get a degree and just had to drop out. So, I guess that's about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try not to think about that, to be honest. I try not to think about what could have been.
Yeah, I'm the same, because I think it sends you down a path of starting to feel shit about everything. And so what's the point?
Yeah.
It's resentment.
You can't change it. So there's no point keeping yourself back there, and dwelling on things.
Exactly. Yeah. So I try and stay to the positives if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. So where are we?
So we're sort of at the diagnosis rollercoaster bit. We've kind of done that a bit, do you think? Like we did, didn't take it in to begin with, and then reluctance. But do you think, like, where are you at today? How do you feel today? Where are you at on the diagnosis rollercoaster?
If you see it as a group cycle.
I'm hopeful because I've started medication, and I'm probably too hopeful. I keep saying to James, "Oh my God, I can't wait until I'm completely cured and none of this is an issue anymore."
Can't wait till I don't have ADHD anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like at the point now where I'm like, right, well, I know the drugs don't work for everyone straight off, but I think they'll probably be different with me.
I'm the same. And I think that about everything. I'll say to James, no, absolutely. I can't remember where we were going, but everything was going wrong. And I was going, no, everything's going to be completely fine. I know. I'm going to ace this. And he's like, why? What? There's no evidence to suggest that. Why would you think that? I always think it's going to be brilliant. Don't worry.
I do have to say, to be encouraging, although I definitely do still have ADHD, my life has improved really dramatically.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, it has been life-changing for me, 100%.
Wow.
I always feel like a pusher when I'm saying that. And, I'm not some kind of spy being paid by Big Pharma. Like, I promise you. Like, I'm still a wreck and I'm still emotional and scatty, but life has got a lot better. So
and I see that with James as well. He's still a complete fucking wreck, but he's much less of a wreck than he was before. So that gives me hope, because if it's like that for him, I'm way better than him. So I'm just going to be completely cured.
So if you could implement change to the diagnostic process, what would it be?
See, this is the point where I wish I'd prepared for this. I think, I thought about this recently, actually, and I thought about, like, if I've always suffered with anxiety and depression, and I go to the doctor and say, I've got depression, and they fill out some checklists and go, there you go, there's your drugs. I've got anxiety. Okay, here's your drugs and here's some CBT. I don't understand why we have to produce so much evidence. Like, why can't we just say, I've got ADHD and know that I've got ADHD? What? I don't understand the difference. Is it because the drugs are controlled? I don't understand why it's so different. I think you should be able to go to your GP and say, listen, this is how I'm struggling. But then it reminds me of the same thing as the menopause, when I was trying to get diagnosed as being perimenopausal, and they wouldn't listen to me then. And that's the problem. They just don't. I'm saying I've got I've got all the symptoms, and they're going, yeah, but the blood test said that you're normal. But I'm not normal though. I've got all the symptoms. So why? No, because you're not over 45. So I just think that the GP should listen to, and I understand actually why they don't, because some people, I suppose if you're normal, you can abuse it. but to us it's not. I don't know.
It's a really difficult thing, but that's what we always say, you know. I think especially because I was in a really privileged position, and through my husband's work I managed to get access to private because I'd been on the NHS waiting list for over 2 years and moved here, was able to go private, went private, and I'm telling you, it was one appointment. It was one appointment on the phone. I went, XYZ, blah, 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 tick, 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 tick. You have ADHD. That was it. Like, that is actually it. That's what the process is. That's why it's so frustrating, because that's exactly what I say, Sam. Is like, I've gone into doctors and said, I'm suffering with this, 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 and this. And then they go, here's your pills. The process is no different. And when people are saying, oh, you know, it's so complex because it affects so many different people differently, it actually doesn't, because there's a criteria of symptoms. And
we all have to tick off.
You have it. That's it. And then the pills.
And actually thinking about all the anxiety and the depression that I've been treated for all my life, if somebody had picked up earlier and said, actually, it's because you've got ADHD, that's why you're so fucking anxious all the time. That's why you're so low and you hate yourself so much. You know, it's all linked. So I wish that they realised that it was linked and could pick up on it earlier and say, so you're anxious and you're low. Why is that? Why do you think it could be? Can we explore this? Are you also forgetful? Do you also lose focus? You know, just explore it a little bit.
Instead of just looking at things on the surface, dig a little bit deeper. Absolutely.
Get to the root. 100%. Because in theory, if we're saying that this huge list of things, everything from maybe like addiction to, you know, whatever, self-harm, like this huge list, any one of those could potentially be a comorbidity of ADHD, then maybe have a look at ADHD. If anybody's presenting any of those symptoms, then potentially ADHD should be on the table.
Yeah, definitely. That one, we'll go with that one.
Yes.
So tell us some positives. I think we've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but
the only positive I can think of is people dying. I can't think of any other positives, honestly.
It is a good one, though. It is a really, really good one.
It helps you,
and in the same thing, that everything's short-lived. I can be fucking devastated about something and literally can see a ladybird and I'm on top of the world. And I completely forgot. I can be the worst thing ever has happened to me, and I think, how can I get through? Oh my God, look at this! And I'm just so changeable, and it can be a really bad thing, but sometimes it can be great because I can just come out of something like that.
That's really good. That's cool. That's very cool.
So, is there anything else that you want to add? Like we were speaking
actually,
about.
We're going to talk about pole dancing.
Yes,
exactly. Maybe we should come back to that in another episode if we ever track down that lady who was telling us that this woman, she has this pole dancing class, and she just turned around and said, basically everyone in the class has ADHD. So there must be some link. Do you know what I mean? That attracts ADHD.
Well, the thing is, I'll talk briefly on it then. For me, I love being upside down. It gives me, I guess it's stimming. It gives me a rush. Every time James leaves the room, I do a headstand because it gives me a head rush, and then I'm up again. And pole and aerial, I'm always upside down. It gives me a rush, and it's. I mean, I started doing it because perimenopausal, and James kept saying you need to do some weight bearing exercise because, you know, osteoporosis and all that shit. And I knew a guy that we used to have a homeless charity. He used to volunteer for us, and I knew that he did pole and aerial, so I went and did it with him. And I never know what I'm going to do. So I don't know if I'm going to do trapeze or aerial hoop or aerial silks or pole. So it's different all the time. And he mixed it up and he knows what I'm like. So it's every lesson's different, but there's a theme that's comforting. I know what I'm going to be doing. And I must say I only have private lessons because I'm not great with people. I don't mix well with people. And I get really nervous if there's other people there as well. And
I hate group exercise.
Yeah, I'm not great. So it has to be kind of private. And I just love it. I have never, ever, ever in my life stuck at any hobby, any exercise, anything. Like I told you last week, I started making these ear cuffs and selling them. The week before it was macrame. It's always something every single week that I'm doing. But this I've done. And I'm not, I was trying to convince James the other day, we were lying in bed and I was going, we've got a high ceiling in our bedroom. And I said, do you know, if you wanted a boxing bag put in above the bed, I could hang a boxing bag up there for you. And he went, why would I want a boxing bag above the bed? Like, I never even exercised. And I went, well, you know, then if we could take the boxing bag down sometimes and put a lyra hoop there. And he went, so you want a hoop above the bed? You've got 2 poles in this house. You never, ever use either, because that's the thing I cannot practice in between. I can't get the motivation. So I do 2 private classes a week, and that is all. And I can't get the motivation to do anything else. But I think paying for private lessons, well, that doesn't normally bother me. I don't mind wasting money, actually. I'm in lazy debt. But I think that's some of it. You think, oh, I'm going to lose that money. But the other thing is I love Jack, and I want to see him. So if I'm not going to, he'll be like, listen, if you don't feel like it, just come along and we'll just have a chat. And there's no way he's going to just let me off with just having a chat. But I think that's part of it, getting somebody that understands you and can work with you to get the best out of you. And it's a nightmare because I obviously forget everything. I've got no working memory. And the thing I love most about Paul, actually, which you two might like, it's the only time my brain is empty.
Yeah, where you're present.
Because you have to
get up. It's so fucking hard. I get up on that pole and my brain just goes, and it's just empty. But that's really difficult because I can never remember anything I'm doing. So Jack's trying to shout at me and he's going, what were you thinking then? And I'm going, I don't know how many times I have to tell you this, but my brain is empty once I touch that pole. That's what I love about it. But it means I'm shit at it because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So but it's really good for that. I think if you find something that needs such focus and it's painful as well and is rewarding, then you'll keep doing it.
I did aerial silks for a while. Well, actually,
that's hardest.
Yeah, I joined a studio that did everything, and I wanted to sign up. I was like, "Do you have a full membership so I could do everything?" Because I want to do everything. Obviously, over enthusiastic, and they were just like, "You're never going to be able to keep up doing everything," and they were right. And I did the silks, and I loved the silks. Really loved the silks, to the point I bought my own silks, and I would hang them from my stairs in my old house.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Yeah. But yeah, I loved it, but then I stopped because I think I lost a job and I was back working in pub work and I couldn't afford to go at the time, and I miss it. And I've been thinking about it loads that I want to get back into it, but obviously I'm just never getting round to it.
Well, you will, because it's all going to be all right. And medication, times your own, silks, a lot.
And I can't lift my own body weight anymore.
That's the thing, and that's why aerial silks is the most difficult, because you're literally like holding on like this, trying to get your legs in, just hanging from your arms the whole time. It's the hardest one, and burning your back with the silks.
Yeah, when I was doing it regularly, I could lift myself up, and I was really strong at that point. And now I've piled weight on, and I'm less strong.
I would never be able to do it.
It was.
I couldn't at first, though. I've never ever been strong.
It was amazing to see how quickly you increase that strength over time when you're doing it regularly.
I've never ever been strong in my life.
I have. I can't even wear bangles because they fall off my hand.
Mine are the same.
No wrist. So every time even if I did a press up, my wrists are just like.
But you would grow strength.
Mine are the same. You do it.
Yeah, you grow better.
No, my wrists are still shit, but I can do it somehow. I think other muscles must take over. Well, look, I've got for the first time in my life.
Wow. Welcome to the.
I've never been strong in my life. I've got like abs coming and everything, and that's never been me.
Right, Laura,
that's really cool.
We're getting
Get
back
on it.
The aerial. It's not even that far down the road from us.
You have no idea how clumsy and uncoordinated I am. I can barely walk.
Hello. I trip over my own feet all the time.
We're doing it.
Okay, we're doing it. Apparently.
I love it.
So yeah, and we've done the most ADHD things you did this week.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, we've done all that.
No, we've done it. Thank you, Sam.
It's been lovely talking to you.
You had a nightmare getting to us.
Oh, that's just every day. That's just my life. It's just a whole mess.
So lovely to speak to you finally. We've been meaning to do this for ages, haven't we?
I know, yeah. I know.
It's so good that you're diagnosed.
I don't know. I'm disappointed. I don't know why I thought that I'd hear the theme tune at the beginning.
Dawn.
ADHD and female.
I love that. I sing that all the time.
Brilliant.
I made that one myself.
She really did. She just did that.
That's amazing.
Amazing. So we wish you all the best with your titration.
Yes.
Do let us know how you get
Yeah,
on.
will do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Posted.
Yeah.
And I feel like we need to like do some kind of follow-up poll business at some point, don't we?
Yeah, let's do it. Once
Yeah.
you two have had a lesson.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, deal. Let's do it.
Well, have
Amazing.
a lovely evening.
Yeah.
Thank you too. Lovely to speak to you.
I'm going to go and find your cuff thing because I need one of those, definitely.
Oh,
So
I've got a few.
yeah, really cool. What's it called? Do you have a page?
Yeah, I think it's called My Current Hyperfocus. Oh my God, the Instagram page is so shit. I had a cold and I decided I was just going to start an Instagram page. So I was doing videos myself. James was going, your head's not even in shot. You can't put these videos up. I'm like, no, I've got to do it now. So I think it's called My Current Hyperfocus.
So everyone needs to get on that.
Yeah, and I think on Etsy I'm Weirdo Jewelry or something.
Well,
It's on Etsy,
we can find out and we'll put it on your video when we put the episode out, so people can
no,
buy
you don't
it.
have to do that. It's embarrassing.
People can buy it and then it won't be your hype focus, it's your business.
Only made four.
It.
Well, we're going to be making a few more.
You know I'll be immediately bored of this and get orders. I've only made 4 and put 4 up. I do quite enjoy it though. I might make some more now I've been reminded of it.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Good. All right then, lovely. We will.
Lovely to speak to you. Sorry I went on for so long.
No, you're
you didn't
quite all
at
right.
all. We always do 2 Zooms.
Oh, good,
always.
good.
We've
Yeah.
never not done it. One of them we did 2 full Zooms.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's actually all right.
Yeah.
Lovely to speak to you. Take
All
care.
right, take care. Bye.
So, how fun was that?
So much fun. Like she's
Hey,
just got such an electric personality that just kind of lights you up and
Yeah.
fills
It's
you with joy.
infectious. Her energy is infectious. She's radiating joy and enthusiasm. And yeah, she just is an absolute joy, Mrs ADHD. Thank you so much.
I know, we really enjoyed that.
I really just love the fact that like she'd forgotten, but then also I'd completely forgotten to do the groundwork for what we originally meant to discuss. It's like, welcome to ADHD land, where we literally do fuck everything up and forget everything. So
It's how we do it.
another amazing thing about the ADHD community is like the understanding and compassion that with all the will and enthusiasm in the world, we're gonna forget important points along the way. But yeah,
I think that's what makes it so much fun as well, though, is that things aren't too planned out, so that they just flow and it's natural, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had planned to speak to Sam for so long, and like obviously we've just been on this like hamster wheel for 7 months, and so it's good that we finally got to have that chat with her, and look forward to having another in the future so we can catch up on where she's up to next, kind of thing. I think that would be really nice to check in with people that we've spoken to, because obviously, as we know, this is such a journey and a roller coaster. It's like I think it would be cool to check in with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely up for talking to her again.
But I love the upside down thing. Did you used to do that as a kid?
Oh my God, yeah. My position on the sofa as a child used to be, so like obviously you have the seat on the sofa and you would put your bum on there. But that's where my back would be and my butt would be against the back of the sofa.
Up in the air, head hanging to the side. Yeah.
And I would watch the TV like that.
How funny is that?
I
and
know.
Also, I used to always sit with my arm in the air. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Just a
strange.
random arm just up in the air. Yeah. So
It
bizarre.
would feel really comfortable and like comforting. I never thought of it as stimming, but I guess it is. Like, I guess it is. It stimulates self-stimulatory behavior. Like, absolutely.
And I guess as Sam was saying with our pole stuff and aerial stuff, that maybe we should give it a go.
If I had any coordination whatsoever, Dawn, you know, I can barely stand. I'm good underwater. On land, there is no balance. There's no core stability whatsoever. It's like a constant movement. And it's so funny because I used to say jokingly, before I knew about any of this, I used to say, gravity doesn't work for me. And
Yeah.
that was my joke, but it's true. And I wish I'd looked it up actually, because it is a thing. It's something like your core something. A lot of neurodivergent people have this thing where, if you think about it, like your central alignment down the middle, some people's is just constantly shifting a little
offset.
bit. And that's me.
I'm still going to drag you down. I'm going to drag
I'll
you
watch.
down.
I'll get content.
Because if I need someone to do it with, so I'm like body doubling, so I'm going to take you with me.
I'll be there with bells on, but the chance of me being able to spin round a pole are very slim to none. Slim to none. But of course I'm up for it. I'm up for anything. You know me. But the thing we want to say thank you to Sam as well for talking about sex. Like, that was unexpected.
Unplanned, unexpected.
Yeah, we've been skirting around trying to figure out how to talk about sex. And this, again, as ever, we're not experts. What we have seen and heard from people is there's kind of two camps. So you've got the one side that are like, can't get into their bodies, like so in their heads that they're disinterested and not engaging. And then you have the other side, which is the kind of dopamine seeking, thrill seeking, which is what Sam was talking about as well.
Yeah.
So we wanted to find people to talk about both and kind of make a sex episode. And then completely by accident, or not by accident, but just as chance would have it, Sam started to talk about that. So thank you so much to Sam for sharing that and getting the ball rolling with that conversation. It's definitely something that we're going to explore more and find out more information and talk about more along the way. Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's just really, really lovely to connect with Sam. Like, obviously, we do feel like we're in a community with the boys, ADHD Adults UK. And speaking of community, we just want to touch back quickly about the community forum that we have created, the community platform. So for anybody who didn't see our live on Sunday was when we announced that we were launching this Patreon, which is something we were advised to do 3 months ago, but it has taken us 3 months to grow the confidence and bravery to actually ask for the help. And just to really clear it up, because I think a couple of people might be a little bit confused about what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. The only thing that is changing is that we cannot continue to offer a messaging service for free.
Yeah.
The platform, so that the podcast, the social media posts, they are staying the same for as long as we can manage it. But the point being is that we cannot keep up with all the messages. It's not fair to answer some and not others. We are scraping by. We are stressed. We are burnt out. Like, we have to earn money. And all the hours I put into ADHD AF means I can't be earning money with those hours elsewhere. So this is the way that we've come up with, a way that we can keep going, because if we can't get enough money behind us, again, we don't think we're superstars, we don't want millions, we literally need enough money so that Dawn can quit her 20 plus hours a week in the restaurant. Then we can put all of our time into it together and have the bills paid. That we're all in the cost of living crisis, so we're not asking for anything unreasonable if we cannot get there, because we appreciate that not everybody can afford another outgoing. But if we can get those that can to back us, it means we can continue as we are. And if we get to a place where we can't, then we're definitely going to need to cut down to 2 a month, to 1 a month. And the problem with that is, if we start losing the momentum, with the charts, with the exposure, then that means less people hearing it, which means less awareness. So that's why it's a community project, is if you are in a position that you can help us, if we have helped you, then we can continue to grow and grow and grow, help more and more people, bring more people in that can fundamentally fight for change. So please understand, the only thing that's changing is the messaging. And if you can help us, we can continue to do what we're doing. But it's just that we're not a charity. And we all have to eat. We all have to pay bills. And this is a valuable service that we are providing. We've learned that now. And we've found enough confidence to say, back us, because this is valuable and we want to keep going. And that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. And as I said at the start of this episode, you're getting something in return for that investment as well. So when you sign up, you're getting into this community where there's a bunch of people just like you, just like us, who are all in there supporting each other and helping each
We're
other.
in there every
Yeah,
day.
we're going to be in there talking and chatting. You know, there's lots of different topics, advice, and there's going to be blogs. There's going to be some behind the scenes stuff. So you're not just pledging money each month for nothing. You'll be getting something back in return. And that is support within this amazing community that we have around us.
And on top of that, in the top tier of membership, your name will be mentioned at the end of each podcast episode in the written blurb. So you are credited for literally funding this podcast. So you are part of this movement and helping others. So that's at patreon.com/ADHD as females.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
And if you're not in a position to have a monthly direct debit, but you just want to donate, you can do that via our Buy Me a Coffee page.
Yes. And that's buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females. So you can go in there and it's essentially like a tip jar. You can basically buy us a coffee or as many coffees as you see fit. You can also pledge there £2 a month. And again, that's just seen as a tip. If you want to be part of the community, then over to Patreon.
But please understand, we know times are hard because they're really bloody hard for us too. We just want to keep going because we can see the value in it. So,
and we don't want anyone getting in any financial difficulties or anything.
No.
So don't feel pressured into doing it.
No.
If you're not in a position financially to do it, then do not do it, you know?
Yeah.
Only if you can and you want to.
Exactly, because the podcast and the social media will remain. The only thing that is changing is the messaging service because it takes up the most time, and even putting all the hours into it, we cannot meet the demand. So that's the only thing that's changing. But thank you so much to everyone who already has joined our community. It is a really lovely space. We're really enjoying getting to know people and chatting to people. It's
anyone that has joined up, just understand that obviously it's new to us as well. We're finding our feet in it. And so if you know how to work it, then we're more than welcome to any tips, any advice that you have, as we kind of learn alongside you. But
it's going to grow and evolve as we learn more. And obviously you're in your last 2 weeks of uni for Christmas, so it really is batten down the hatches o'clock. So we should go so you can crack on with your work.
I know, I need to go and get into the zone.
But guess what we're doing tomorrow?
I know, this is very exciting. Tomorrow, Laura and I are getting tattoos.
They are the tattoos we were meant to get to celebrate 100k, but the week we hit 100k downloads was the week that Dawn had her assessment ordeal, so it wasn't exactly a celebratory time. So now it's 200k, which is unbelievable. So so watch this space, because once we get our tattoos tomorrow, we will be sharing them with you. But very excited about this. It's a big celebration for us. Like we still can't get our heads around where we're at with this. And just how quickly it's grown and how much it's grown in the last 7 months. And I mean, in the last 6 weeks, we've had 100k downloads,
which is just unfathomable. Like
even since last night, we've hit another country. It's like 163 countries now. So again, apologies that we can't keep up with the messages, but we just can't. So imagine that everyone that listens sends us a message because we've asked them to back in the day. So they start at episode 1 and then we just can't get through them. So hopefully that makes sense to people and they understand that we're not being arrogant or getting big for our boots. We're asking for help so that we can continue because we see how much it's helping.
And obviously there's other places like the ADHD adults charity that can offer advice and help. So if you are struggling and you need some help, you need some advice, then there are charities out there that can help you.
There's also the ADHD Foundation. And in terms of like the community, if you want to chat to others in a community and you're not in a position to join ours, there are lots of other ones. There are loads on Facebook. It's just that we can't afford to put the hours into it that we are. So that's why that's the only thing that we've lost, is because we can rest assured that people can get that support in other communities if they're not able to join ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not alone, and we care very much, but we can only keep going if we do this. So that's that.
Exactly.
But
We need to look after ourselves first. That's
Well, it's finally
the most
that.
difficult. What's the most difficult thing to do, to put yourself first? But we have to in this situation, because if we want to carry on, like we say, we need to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, exactly that.
But thank you.
Thank you so much to Sam. It was
Yes.
so wonderful to chat to her. We know all of you love Sam and will love this blether as much as we did. So yeah, thank you, Sam. And
Thank you. And we should probably shut up now.
go and do your work, Dawn. We've got things to do tomorrow.
Yay. All right. As always, look after yourself, look after everyone else, be kind, compassionate towards yourself and others. And we will speak to you very soon.
Big love.
Big love. Bye.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF, ADHD as females.